Welcome back to our journey through the fascinating world of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime's Light Novel. Let's continue from the last part, where we left.
A few days later, Caligulio received a surprising report from his chief technician, who explained that the sword wasn't really a sword at all but an energy absorption device. It was designed to efficiently produce magic and could launch spells without much effort from the wielder. This discovery challenged common sense as it allowed even those not sensitive to magic to cast spells. The technician confirmed that the weapon was indeed found inside the labyrinth, as Ghidorah had reported. This revelation made Caligulio realize the significance of Rimuru, the demon lord who created such an innovative weapon. Feeling curiosity, Caligulio sent a team to learn about Rimuru's labyrinth, but they got stuck at the 40th floor. Then, a merchant told them about special weapons found in the labyrinth that were less expensive than the unique class ones. The head technician didn't understand why these weapons were important at first. Caligulio figured out that these weapons, which had slots for magistones, were probably given to adventurers to try out. When a magistone was put in, the weapon got stronger, showing it could be a magic weapon. They thought these weapons were handed out to adventurers to see how they worked, planning to take them back after getting enough information. Caligulio accurately understood Rimuru's motives to some extent, knowing that conducting experiments with these weapons would take time. Despite being test weapons for now, he felt it was risky to allow them more time. Reflecting on humans' ability to discover brilliance in danger, he found it a clever idea to conduct experiments without risking lives. The chief technician showed him a resurrection bracelet, one of the treasures Ghidorah brought back, though Caligulio suspected it to be fake. He envisioned substantial benefits for his force if they captured the labyrinth and confirmed the bracelet's functionality. Prepared to challenge the demon lord for strategic reasons, Caligulio saw capturing the labyrinth as imperative for securing a stable magic crystal supply and a test space for new weapons. He assured the technician of imminent success, both exchanging smiles over the prospect. The technician thought Ghidorah wasn't paying enough attention to the sword and the labyrinth because he was too caught up with the magic crystals. Caligulio felt the same and believed that mixing science with magic was the start of something new. He thought he was a better leader for the armored division than Ghidorah. Wanting to challenge Rimuru, Caligulio made a plan to go after the storm dragon, which the Empire really wanted. Even though Ghidorah didn't agree, Caligulio was firm about his plan, and this caused them to go their separate ways eventually. The time had arrived and Caligulio was thrilled. He aimed to assert his dominance over Ghidorah and solidify his position within the Empire. But first, he needed to prove himself by taming the dragon and capturing the labyrinth with his armored division. With determination, he declared it was time to march and present his proposal at the next Imperial Council. Caligulio was prepared to silence any doubts and move forward without delay, especially against Ghidorah and Yuki, whom he believed were underestimating him. Despite his disdain for his colleagues, he continued to strategize on how to maximize his gains from the situation as he worked on his proposal for the Emperor. And so, the Empire would set its plans into motion. After the Imperial Council was set to start, and the atmosphere was tense, military officers and civil officials lined up neatly, feeling the gravity of the occasion. As the United Emperor Ladora Nam Ul Nazca entered, everyone bowed their heads in respect. Though unseen behind a blind, his presence commanded reverence as the supreme leader of the world's greatest military superpower. Nearly 200 individuals, including division commanders, imperial guardians, government ministers, and members of the House of Lords, gathered in the hall, all showing deference to the emperor. The chamber filled with the sound of rustling clothes, then fell silent at the prime minister's signal. As the chief of protocol announced the emperor's arrival, everyone greeted him together, marking the beginning of the Imperial Council. They were gathered to discuss the empire's upcoming invasion, a momentous occasion that would surely be remembered in history. The council's meeting started in a serious mood, split between those worried about the big war coming up and those who wanted to fight. They first talked about reasons to start the war, from trying to talk it out to just attacking. The emperor will have the final say, but the council argued about the best way to go. The demon lords were annoying, but the big problems were the storm dragon and the forest of Jura. While meeting Lord Ghidorah, the top wizard spoke out against starting a war, and Commander Caligulio of the armored division quickly argued back. They often disagreed like this, with Ghidorah being careful and Caligulio wanting to fight. Some people were worried about the evil dragon Veldora, who had come back to life in the forest of Jura. This made a few agree with Ghidorah's careful approach, but others didn't. Most people had forgotten about the terrible things Veldora did 300 years ago, so those who wanted to fight were more popular. Ghidorah's group was losing support, and Caligulio noticed this. He started looking for ways to make his group stronger. In the debate, Caligulio stood firm in his belief that their recent advancements provided a safeguard against Veldora, urging for a decisive move forward. Ghidorah, however, cautioned against rash action, emphasizing the risks involved, especially with the forest's new ruler, Rimuru, and the revived Veldora forming an alliance. The Valley of Death offered a tempting shortcut, but trespassing into Milim's territory could spell trouble. Similarly, navigating the forest of Jura meant confronting the formidable duo of Veldora and Rimuru, necessitating careful consideration before any decisive action could be taken. Ghidorah didn't want to make enemies if it wasn't necessary, and some of the council's civil officials agreed. But Caligulio didn't care about that. He thought the empire's goals were more important. The military liked Caligulio's way of thinking because it meant they could move through the forest to get to the west. Ghidorah's idea to work with the Dwarven King didn't go over well, because the dwarves have strong fighters, and it would be hard to get their help. The council liked the idea of beating a demon lord better because it would make people support them and be good for their strategy. Gradam, the Beast King and leader of the Magical Beast Division, dominated the room with his presence and authority. Though not among the top ranks, his strength and influence were undeniable, making him second only to the Empire's Marshal, a position he resented. Some speculated he had lycanthrope heritage, but regardless, he was known for his impulsive nature, which made dealings with him difficult for Ghidorah. Gradam dismissed the idea of seeking alliance with King Gazelle, insisting on the Empire's military might to enforce its will, rather than diplomatic maneuvers. Gradam, the Beast King, loudly stopped Ghidorah from arguing. Ghidorah used to lead the magic division, but he lost his job 30 years ago because people didn't need individual magic users much anymore. The Empire had made a new weapon called the spell gun that used magic stones to let anyone cast spells. These guns could only use one kind of magic, but because they were so easy to use, the old way of using magic wasn't needed for fighting anymore. In the Empire, they made magic sabers for fighting up close. These are like spell guns but for hand-to-hand fights. This new tech helped the Empire's soldiers understand why the dungeon's weapons with slots were made. It showed that both sides thought alike about fighting strategies. Now, because anyone can use magic with these weapons, the old magic division isn't as important, which makes Ghidorah sad. But Caligulio keeps making fun of him, saying he's too old and not brave enough to face the storm dragon. Ghidorah is worried about how dangerous the dragon is, but Caligulio and the others just laugh at him. "You fail to see, my lord." Caligulio retorted, "The imperial military has evolved with knowledge from other worlds, embracing new science and technologies. Our army has grown immensely powerful, rendering traditional sorcery obsolete. It's time for you to acknowledge His Majesty's favor and retire gracefully." Ghidorah, though outwardly furious, secretly accepted his fate, having already pledged allegiance to the demon lord Rimuru. He pitied the council members, oblivious to the sorceress dynasty's hidden knowledge and the looming threat posed by Rimuru, an otherworlder. While the Empire relied on its military strength, Ghidorah questioned how long it could endure against such adversaries. Ghidorah knew the truth about Tempest and Rimuru, which made him unsure if they could win. He was loyal to the Emperor and tried to keep the Empire out of war, because he knew it could end badly. But he was ready for whatever happened if he couldn't stop the war. At the same time, he watched Yuki closely, thinking Yuki might try to take over and hurt the Emperor. Ghidorah was determined to stop Yuki to keep things from getting out of control. Not sure what would happen next, he chose to do what Rimuru asked and make people more excited about the dungeon. After deciding this, Ghidorah focused on Yuki, who didn't say anything the whole time. Caligulio watched Ghidorah stay quiet and felt like he was winning. Ghidorah was once a great sorcerer, but now he didn't have much power after his magic division was closed. He's just an advisor to the armored division, and his support doesn't mean much. But Caligulio was still upset that Ghidorah wanted Yuki to be a leader. Caligulio thinks Ghidorah is stuck in the old ways and can't keep up with the Empire's strong army now. To Caligulio, Ghidorah is just in the way as the Empire grows stronger. Caligulio's armored division stood as the Empire's largest military force, blending otherworldly science with magical technology. With over 2 million soldiers, though not all immediately deployable, it boasted a staggering army unimaginable in previous eras. About 1 million troops could mobilize swiftly, showcasing the division's formidable strength.
That's it for today, guys, and thanks for watching the video. Stay tuned for next chapter. Until then, goodbye.